This podcast is brought to you by Salt River Pictures.
Hi, Lloyd. A little slow tonight, isn't it?
Hello there.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Stay on target.
Dylan! Son of a bitch.
Welcome to the Salt River Movie Club.
Hello, and welcome back to the Salt River Movie Club, the podcast that has something special for you this week. This should be a good time. This is the Salt River Movie Club. We are a movie podcast. We are three members of the band Salt River Shakedown. We do blues rock, classic rock, that kind of thing. But this podcast, not about that band. This podcast is about movies. I like that this has become the intro now. Like, this was just what I said to explain what's going on.
I want to get t-shirts made up that says, we do blues rock, classic rock, that kind of thing. You phrase it the same way every time, and it's brilliant.
It's just kind of catchy. I kind of like it.
Let us know if you'd be interested in SMRC merch.
Yeah. I've not had a single message about the movies yet, but yeah, let us know if you are interested in merch.
I want merch.
Yes, this podcast is not about that band. This podcast is about movies we like and movies that we don't like. And as I said a second ago, this is a slight twist on that this week. This is going to be a different one, but we shall get to that in a little bit. First of all, I have to introduce my guest hosts. Guest hosts, like you're not here on every episode.
You don't have to introduce us.
Sorry for intruding on your podcast.
I'm so sorry.
Sean, me and you, we'll just leave, shall we? We'll just start.
Yeah, right. Bye.
Catch you later.
Fuck you both. Yes, you've already heard them both.
Sorry,
now,
Ian,
but,
we just hijacked your podcast.
Don't worry about it. Yes, over here we have. I don't have a funny intro for you this week. I'm very sleep deprived. God's
sake, Jay.
It's Alec, which is nice, I guess.
It's Alec.
It's Alec. How's it going?
Reverb as fuck.
Aye. Alec McMillan, guitarist extraordinaire. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Very good.
Good, I'm glad.
Yes, it's snowing. Which is
snowing
nice.
like fuck right now.
It's snowing like mental. Like,
yeah.
I'm not letting my cat outside because he will perish. He will
perish. Yes. Yes, he will indeed. Yeah, cool. And
yes.
Shaw, over here we have our other host who is wearing both the movie t-shirt and the plaid shirt.
Hang on! This is a game changer! Oh no! Hang on a minute.
Assimilated you.
Oh my god.
The slack, it's fine.
Alec is just wearing like blue.
He just looked round at me and I've just got no clothes on. I'm like, whoa,
What have you done?
Where's my shirt?
Yes, he's wearing a Matrix t-shirt and kind of dark green plaids. I don't know why anyone cares, but I just find it funny the consistency of these clothes. I'm wearing a plaid shirt today.
You are wearing a plaid shirt. Alec, pick up the slack.
Feel left out. Right, hang on.
Sean, how the fuck are you?
All right.
Good. I'm glad.
I've got nothing.
Okay, cool. That's fine. And I am your host. I am Jake.
Wearing a red plaid shirt.
I'm drummer Jake. Yes, I am wearing a plaid shirt.
How be you this fine morning?
I am alright. I bought an electric drum kit recently for so much money. I arrived yesterday and I spent a really long time getting out of its many boxes and
it was quite funny to watch.
And, I've barely touched it yet. Quite frankly, I'm waiting for you two plebs to fuck off so I can, go back to my toy. But
it's actually what it is. It's actually what it is. It's just like Christmas for you, innit? It's snowing. It's like you got your new drum kit.
I'm so happy.
I'm not gonna lie.
Please leave.
When you sent us like the picture that you'd got it, I did kind of go, oh, I'll look up the model number, and I went
Hold on a minute. You fucking lied to me.
I did lie to you. I'm sorry. Yeah, Sean. Electric drum kits don't come with kick pedals and things like that, so I needed Sean to bring me my kick pedal and my hi-hat stand and my stick bag.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, no, I just messaged him. I was trying to keep it a secret.
This bitch lied to me.
Well, because that's the thing is that all my stuff is stored at the rehearsal space we use, which is in Cumbernauld, which is where Sean lives. and he was coming to work in Glasgow, and I was like, okay, can you meet me for 2 minutes and grab the stuff and meet me? And he was like, yeah, cool. And he was a wee gem about it. But he mentioned like why do you need a hi-hat stand for an electric kit? Because he thought I was borrowing one from someone else.
Yeah.
And he just like, I was like, shit, he's caught me in the lie. I was like, oh yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah, no.
I assumed it was for your suitcase kit.
So like,
yeah.
So
that would've made
so
more
you
sense.
need the pedal for the. What was it you need?
The hi-hat.
You need the full stand.
Well, yeah, because it's a weird one. You might actually be able to see it behind me. It's
actually like
For the
actual
people
hi-hat.
home, I'll describe it for you.
yeah, like basically, yeah, like it actually reacts to you like opening and closing it. Yeah, so it just so it gives you that feeling of it like moving more when it's open and like. Yes, it is a beauty. It is not the crazy $4,000 top of the range Roland one.
TD50 TV, I think it's called.
Yeah, no, those are just insane.
Yeah, you've got the same one as the Rival Sons one has, because he did.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, the exact same one. Because he's not got the pure mental one either. Because he's got a simple setup like you. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need it. But he was doing some like live streams and stuff, and he was using it. It was awesome.
Yeah, cool.
And he does the same thing. He has a sample pack with addictive drums, and he loads them in, and it just sounds like his kit.
Yeah, I'm not messing with samples and stuff yet. We'll get to that at some point. But
You should get you should get good drums.
get good.
Get good drums. It's a real thing.
No. Yeah, if anyone's interested, if you have any drum enthusiasts out there, it is the Roland TD17KVX, which is just some letters if for people that aren't drum people, but
it's like when
it is a lovely kit.
It's like if you buy Ibanez guitar, it's like, oh yeah, I got a new guitar. It's the RG81423. It's oh my god.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like my first electric guitar is called like Sheraton, and I was like, cool, guitars have names, and most of them are just numbers and letters.
Yeah, all the classic ones have names.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I wanted an electric kit because I wanted to be able to practice here because I've gone for most of this year without playing drums at all, which is really depressing. Like, imagine if someone came to you and was like, yeah, you can't play guitar for 8 months of this year.
I know,
I'd kill them.
It's horrible. But I've always felt bad because it's like I've had an electric drum kit and it's just like I can play drums but the drummer can't. It's like weird.
Yeah.
Oh, cheeky boy.
Yeah, it's been driving me kind of insane. So no, yeah, I can fix that problem now. Yes, let's start with our usual.
Yes.
It has been less long than usual since the last time we did this because we've recorded the one day episode. Not to date this too much, but we recorded these slightly out of order. Yes. What have you been watching recently, Sean? You're
God
first.
damn it. What have I watched recently? I finished Resident Evil 6 finally. So I went to 7. I watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure because it's just amazing. And then
good.
Straight after it was Ender's Game, which I posted about on the page.
Yeah.
It's actually better than I remember.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I thought you were going to say it's shit.
I've never seen it.
It's a really good movie. The book's amazing.
I know that
apparently,
it's got that dude in it that looks like Harrison Ford that should have played. That a lot of people say should have played him in Solo or whatever. But
I can't.
I mean, it
remember.
has Harrison Ford in it.
It does have Harrison
Is that who you're thinking of?
no, like the young version of Harrison Ford.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, a lot of people think he
though.
should have played Solo.
Oh, okay.
If you're interested, it has incredible twists, but the book is apparently amazing.
It's a shame for an actor just be typecast as, hey, we're only going to put you in a movie if you're going to play Harrison Ford for the rest of your career. That's tragic.
That poor boy.
That's a bit of a shame.
I thought that's pretty much it for me since it's been less time between the episodes.
Nice. Alec, what have you been
I
watching?
been watching? Not much.
No?
See, I don't think so. I think, like, you'll come back to me and I'll have actually watched about 10 movies, but right now, not much.
Okay.
I watched One
The
Division.
last thing I remember watching is Godzilla.
Is it? Aye.
Right.
Like movie-wise.
Good.
I've been quite boring. I walked
Really?
in with my dad and he was watching Next, the Nicolas Cage one. And
Oh yeah.
and it was just, I was like watching it for a wee bit, and I was like, this is not good. I was like,
No, it's a terrible film.
this is bad. It's number 2 on Netflix for some reason.
All right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of Netflix,
Interesting.
they released a lot
Look
of
at
movies
that.
that are on my list now.
Well, that's good.
I have a lot of choice for the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Hee hee.
Yes, I have. There was a few movies that are coming soon on Netflix. I was like, oh, I want to choose that as my thing, but I
Yeah.
can't. I
You've
can't.
got to wait,
Next time.
fucker.
We'll get to them eventually. Is that all you've watched? Nicolas Cage's
Yeah,
Next.
I've watched about
For
30
now.
seconds of Nicolas Cage's Next, just to reaffirm this is not a good film.
It's not a good film. Like I remember it having
What you can
some
see,
quite cool.
so you can see like a couple of minutes into the future. It's a shit pillar in
Yes.
it.
And yeah, like it's literally 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
I remember
useless
some
superpower.
quite. I remember some quite clever and interesting uses of that, and the way they visualize it is quite cool. Where he kind
Yeah.
of steps out of his body and
I tell you what, though,
Um,
he is absolutely jacked in that movie for some reason.
is it?
Totally. It's like he takes his top off and he's just like, I'm Nick Cage. It's like,
Damn.
Was that around the time he did Ghost Rider? Maybe.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of got jacked for that.
Yeah. Get that leather jacket game on.
What an anomaly of a man, Nicolas Cage.
I like Ghost Rider. I love Ghost Rider.
Do you guys remember Wicker Man?
I don't want to. It's not. We should rewatch Ghost Rider, but I've got such a good memory of it in my head of it just being this badass movie. But I don't. I remember
it
this.
was kinda-
I remember the second one being terrible.
Oh, the second one is like really, really appalling. Like,
Although-
Because
I
it's
don't
like
quite
it
know
goes
what
into the whole
happened
religious cult thing, and it's a bit weird,
there.
doesn't
Although-
Yeah.
It
I
does
remember
feature
right.
Nick Cage being Nick Cage, but on like 11.
I love Nick Cage, man.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Like crazy Nick Cage, like turned up to 11 Nick Cage is often quite fun, but
Yeah,
I don't know,
again-
in that movie it feels half-assed, if I'm honest. But it's
I
yeah.
suppose.
yeah. Although that film does have Idris Elba somehow in it.
Oh, I
but,
love Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking now that we're talking about Nick Cage. I'm torn between two movies now.
Well, you've got time to decide.
Will I do a curveball? I might do a curveball.
You've got time to the end of this episode.
We'll see.
Right, what have I been watching? Well, you can actually see my chronicle of what I've been watching because I have started over on our Instagram, which is Salt River Pictures Official on Instagram. Salt River Pictures Official on Instagram. I've started doing a little thing called Now Watching, where I post basically every movie I've been watching recently, which since the last time we recorded includes The Dead Zone by Frank Darabont, which is a Stephen King adaptation starring Christopher Walken. It's a bit shit, but I can see whether it might have been a good book. But Christopher Walken is awesome as always. I've also watched The Green Mile for the first time ever. Which is,
really?
What
did you think?
Yeah.
Tell us.
I loved The Green Mile.
It's
That was
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Me and Sean were going on about you to watch that, weren't we? For a while.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were. Oh, what
yeah,
a
no,
fucking
'cause-
movie.
Well, because
let's talk about more. Let's talk about more about The Green Mile. What's your
well, because it took me totally by surprise. Because because I'd watched Shawshank like the week before. Like I'd seen Shawshank loads, but like I kind of rewatched Shawshank the week before, and it's same director, same writer.
very Shawshank. Yeah.
They're both Stephen King adaptations, and they're both prison dramas.
Yeah.
So I was expecting another prison drama, and then suddenly it's this whole crazy Stephen King supernatural thing out of nowhere, and it was took me totally by surprise. And it was,
You didn't know? So you
awesome.
didn't know that part of it at all?
I knew none of that. I knew that he died at the end. So spoilers for The Green Mile, by the way.
For God's sake, you can't do
Who
that.
died? It's fine.
It's fine. It
Somebody
came out
dies.
like 25 years ago. It's fine.
I know. I knew that part of it. And I was like, oh shit, I've spoiled the end of the film. That's a shame, but I'll watch it anyway. And then I was like, oh no, there's a whole other layer to this that I was completely unaware of.
Yeah, and now you're like, how does he die?
My
Yeah,
God.
exactly. But yeah, God, I love Tom Hanks so much. He's just,
Love him.
he's the best.
He's-
I'll never get people that don't like him. And there is a lot of people out there that don't like him.
Why?
It's just insane.
He's
There's
the
a lot of people
nicest
that don't
dude.
like a lot of things.
No, I know.
They
I
can
know, but,
they can get Tom.
They can get in the chair.
Yeah,
I have to say,
totally.
I think
We
Tom
need to
Hanks is
cherish
Hollywood's
Tom Hanks.
best actor of all time.
He's got
he's a top 5 actor for me. Definitely.
totally. I love actors who just have pure mega iconic voices.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like he's just got such an iconic voice.
He does.
I don't think I've ever heard him swear either, which was quite a
Nah.
nice
Yeah.
change. He did.
He's-
Well, he doesn't. He doesn't Green Mile. He says shit a couple times, but like.
I want to hear him say motherfucker.
Yeah, he does. He has sworn in movies, but yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's just
It's
'cause
rare.
because you
Has
have
to
this
say
kind of
motherfucker.
Disney perception of Tom Hanks that he's just like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because that's what I was saying this when I was watching it. Is like you're so used to kind of wholesome Tom Hanks, as that's kind of his sort of typecast thing, but. Occasionally he plays like angry badass Tom Hanks, and it's always great.
Oh,
And,
totally,
like,
totally.
Um,
The
yes.
pissing scenes and the thing are so funny. And
How much of a
Yes.
curveball would it be if Tom Hanks played a villain?
I would love
wonder
that.
if he
I don't think
has.
I don't think he's ever done it.
I
But like,
don't think he
I-
has. I can double check on it.
not that I
it's
know
like
of,
that.
anyway.
It's like that one, Collateral, when Tom Cruise plays the
Yes.
the bad guy,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
so good.
That's a great movie. Or
Let's watch
yeah.
that at some point.
you ever see a Green Room?
Green Room, I haven't.
No,
Green Room. It's a weird film. It's not a film I'd want to watch often because it's pretty full.
is that a
on, but
recent
it's,
film?
It was like the last 5 years or so, I think. Yeah. And
Is
it's
that-
about a punk band, trying to tour and play shows and things like that, and they end up playing in a Nazi bar, and then they get trapped in the green room of this Nazi bar while the Nazis try and kill them, and the head Nazi is Patrick Stewart, and he's great in it.
Yeah, that's a sad. It's a sad movie because Anthony Yelchin passed away like right soon after
Yes,
doing that.
yeah.
No, that's
yeah.
why I recognise that movie. But yeah,
Yeah. But it's really good, but it's a film that I'm like, I don't want to watch that again because it was just so full on intense.
Yeah.
But,
what a great actor Anthony Yelchin was.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
he's the kind of bass player in that band. Yes.
Just on a wee random side note, I was looking up if Tom Hanks had ever actually played a bad guy. He's only played one, and it was a gangster in Road to Perdition.
Oh, of course. I mean, but
forgot
he's
about that.
he's still the protagonist of that film. To be fair, so he's not really the bad guy, but he's a gangster. He's a hitman. I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
So he's never played like an opposing villain character. He's always the leading man kind of thing.
Yeah,
isn't he?
never been an antagonist.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Tom Hanks in a movie where he's not the lead character. He's that.
Yeah,
He's that kind of actor, isn't he? Like,
Yeah, he's played people that like aren't great people, like in that example. But like
he just kind of steals the show in every movie he's in, so he has to be the lead character. Because any audience would watch this movie and be like, Tom Hanks, and then he'd like go away for a bit, and you'd be like, no, more Tom Hanks, please. Oh my
I got a
god!
question for all these.
It
I
is
know it's snowing
absolutely-
quite badly outside.
Wow.
Got a question for both of you.
Yes, go ahead.
yes.
What is your favourite Tom Hanks performance?
Oh Jesus.
I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
I want to go
Question's
last.
bad. It's like an instant that was. Woody. You need to like what do you call it? It's like pitch down my voice for that bit.
Oh God. What would be mine? I think the last 2 minutes of Captain Phillips.
Oh,
He was fucking robbed for the Oscar for that. Like he's incredible in
absolutely
that film.
robbed.
He's great in Castaway as well. Love
I've
Castaway.
not seen Castaway.
Oh my god!
You've not
Right,
seen
okay.
Castaway.
Oh my god, we are
What the
watching Castaway. Is Castaway on anything? Give me a minute. Castaway.
So mine, right?
Yes.
Mine is Saving Private Ryan, which he won an Oscar for.
Yeah.
For Best Actor.
He's really good in that.
He's great in that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love him in one of my favourite performances is him in The Terminal.
Oh yes.
He's really
Brilliant
good
in
that.
that.
Yeah.
He's so good in
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I think that was my attempt at a segue, by the way.
Yes. Well, yeah. Just a quick flick through the other films I've watched.
Oh yeah, shit, you're still other films.
So I've watched a lot of films. I watched Eastern Promises by David Cronenberg. Also, I just realized that earlier on I said that Dead Zone was directed by Frank Darabont. It wasn't. Green Mile was directed by Frank Darabont. Dead Zone was directed by David Cronenberg, as was Eastern Promises.
And you call
Eastern
yourself a
Promises,
podcast host.
meh. Shut up.
Sorry, Ian. We're here for you.
Eastern Promises, not great. Like I watched two not great David Cronenberg movies. You know?
Why would you do that to yourself?
Like he's done good stuff, but I just watched two just kind of like meh ones. But yeah. And I watched The Gift. which is Joel Edgerton film, which is really good.
Oh, actually, yeah. I heard about that recently. I was kind of thinking about watching that.
Yeah, it's good. It's totally not what the trailers totally marketed it as, like a sort of, you know, a Blumhouse horror kind of jump scary kind of like a guy in your house movie. It's totally not that. Like,
a guy in your house movie.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a thing. To be
Could
fair.
we just need to make up a fake trailer. Just like, there's a guy in your house.
Yeah, and there's a bit of that, but yeah, it's totally not the movie they marketed it as, which is possibly why it didn't do very well. But it's really good. It's really, really good. Directed and written by Joel Edgerton, and he's in it, and he's good.
Nice.
Yes, that is what I've been watching. Go and follow us on Salt River Pictures Official on Instagram, because we're going to be posting more about that. We are droning on for way too long.
Yes, so Jake, what will we be watching today?
Speaking of Oscar-winning actor Tom Hanks.
Well, he's not in the movie we're watching today, but so
wait.
Whoa.
You tell me that we're not watching Toy Story 2.
2 specifically.
Are we watching Toy Story 2? I'm so excited.
We're not watching Toy Story 2.
Come on. I want to go to Al's Toys Barn.
Al's Toy Barn.
As mentioned at the end, yes, if you listen to the podcast, you already know this. As mentioned at the end of our Godzilla episode, today we are watching Parasite because it is. We're watching Parasite because it is my turn in the rotation. However,
yes,
there is a twist to this. Ooh. We are starting a new. So, first of all, if you're unfamiliar with this podcast, the concept is that it is a movie club. You are encouraged to watch the movie beforehand. We let you know at the end of each episode what we're going to be watching next, so you have time to catch up on it. So if you haven't seen Parasite, now is your last chance. Pause the podcast and make haste to your nearest Amazon Prime. Wherever physically that may be.
I thought you were going to say to your nearest Blockbuster. I was like, no.
Ask your
if there's a
neighbor.
Blockbuster near you and they have Parasite, go for it. But
do they still exist?
I'm pretty sure there's one or
couple?
two still out there. Yeah,
There's one left, but it's not part of the franchise.
Right, okay.
Shit. Okay, that's
I
probably how it
remember.
survived.
It's probably one of those things where the owner bought the store from them and just kept it or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Probably.
Yes. Anyway, we should stop talking about bullshit. So you're encouraged to watch along. That is the usual concept for this podcast, and this is no different. However, there is a slight twist to this one. We are starting a new kind of series, which is called
Oscar Quest.
Yes, good. And there will have been. It's a bit awkward doing it out by the. I'll have effects on my voice, and there'll be a bit of music there. Written by Alec. It's going to be great. I have chills just thinking about it right now.
yeah,
I'm
I'll
very,
get it.
very
I'll
moved.
get it ready for this episode, so we have it.
Hang on.
You'll have,
Oscar Quest.
you'll have heard it.
Oscar Quest.
Did you enjoy the music?
Did you enjoy the music? Yes. Let us know. This is the first segment to have a theme tune.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Oscar Quest.
So allow me to explain
Oscar Quest
to you.
Every time
This is Oscar.
Alec, every time he says
Oscar Quest.
or anyone says
Oscar Quest.
you have to put it on the reverb.
He doesn't. Hold on. I edit this podcast.
I don't care.
Yes.
Oscar Quest.
So recently, I was doing some investigation just for fun into the Oscars, and I got onto a list of every Best Picture winner ever. And it kind of occurred to me that there's a lot of these I haven't seen, and and in theory, there's 92 Oscar Best Picture winner movies. In theory, those should be the 92 greatest movies of all time, right? Like in theory, that is how that should work.
Judged by superior white Hollywood.
Well, yes, exactly. But yes, no, if the Oscars just work as they're meant to, that should be the case.
Yeah.
I would argue there are some movies on there that do not deserve to be in that list, and we shall get to them when we get to them. Shakespeare in Love,
Yeah.
but yes, there is a lot of movies on there that I have not seen. And Sean, you all right?
That was great.
I killed Sean. But regardless of that, I realized that there's a lot of these movies that I've never seen, and I feel like I probably should. So that is exactly what we're going to do. We are embarking on a journey, a quest, if you will, an
Oscar Quest.
if you will.
Oscar Quest. Oscar Quest.
And we are going to be watching through every Best Picture winner. Starting with the most recent one, which is, of course, Parasite. It just happened to line up right that way, which is good. And work our way back through time slowly. At the moment, we are going to be doing it at the end of every rotation. So the three of us will pick a movie each, and then the next episode will be an Oscar Quest episode. However, I just did the math on how long that would take. Releasing an episode every 2 weeks, and every fourth one is an Oscar Quest, it would take us 15 years to release every episode of
Let's go!
Like 15 years.
So we may increase the frequency of that at some point.
We'll increase the frequency of that.
Yeah, we like right now this will do, but we may never get to the first one, which by the way
We'll never
is
get to Shakespeare in Love.
That's only like 1999. Like that's not
We'll
even
never
that far.
get to it. Shut up.
The very first. There's a little bit of history on this because it's quite interesting. The Oscars, the very very first one was in 1929, but it was a private dinner. Like there was
Really?
no kind of event. It was like for like industry professionals, and it was held at a private dinner. And the movie was the movie that won was called Wings. Have either of you heard of this movie from released in 1928? No. Cool. Okay. So that'll be interesting.
Can't say I was about for that one, to be honest.
No.
I don't know anyone that
that'll be
was.
interesting. And then yes, the following one was done, but it was a radio event. So we have 92
when they were trying to figure
movies.
out the format.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we have 92 movies to work through, going right back to 1928. We may never get there, but hopefully we will.
That is almost 100 years of movies.
Yeah, which is great. But yeah, 92 movies. We are aware that the 2021 Oscars are coming up soon. When whatever movie that is announced, we will quickly do an episode on that and get it out there. And just this is going to last years, regardless of if it's 15 years or not. But we will do that every year. And we are going to work our way back through time.
Yep.
And it should. I'm actually very, very excited about this. There's some good movies on here, and there's some terrible movies on here. So we shall see how that goes. But
I
want that Huey Lewis something going back in time.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Let us know if you want an
Oscar Quest.
T-shirt. That should be
Oh yes, that would be good.
I want an
Oscar
Oscar
Quest
t-shirt.
Indeed. So yeah, that is our plan. Hopefully we manage to do that because I want to see some of these movies.
Yes.
Same.
So yes, first movie up, Parasite.
Yeah.
Which was released in 2019 but 2020 in the UK. It appeared in my top 10 list of the year. I think this movie is incredible. These two have not seen this movie. It is directed by... It's a Korean film. It's directed by Bong Joon-ho. There's going to be a lot of names that I'm going to fuck up here, by the way.
Yeah.
It was written by Bong Joon-ho and Jin Won-han. Starring... Hold on, give me a second. Lee Sun-kyun, Kang Ho-song, Yeo Yong-cho, Park So-dam, and Chow Woo-sik. All of those could be pronounced wrong. I have no idea. Scored by Jae Young? I don't know. One.
Sorry. I want to watch you pronounce Korean names all day long. It's my favourite pastime.
On behalf of the Salt River Pictures podcast, we are sorry.
Yes, so I do apologize if you are Korean.
Yeah. We have good intentions.
We do have good intentions. And yes, it won Best Picture in 2020. Quite a historic film, and a foreign film has never won before.
Yeah, that's great.
And it also won Best Achievement in Directing, Best Original Screenplay, Best International Film, and was also nominated for Production Design and Editing.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big winner.
So it's a good one then.
Yeah, and it's also the film that famously Bong Joon-ho, after he got his Oscars, made his Oscars kiss. There's a great picture of him doing that, which is just the kind of person he is.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, he also asked if he could have it like lots of extra ones given to him so he could give them out to all his crew and things like that. But he was
That's
refused.
really sweet.
No,
Yeah.
that's a shame.
Yeah.
I do
he's
have one interesting point, actually.
Yes.
Just because I'll forget it if I don't mention it now.
Mm-hmm.
I work as a cinema host, and when Parasite was doing its rounds around the cinema, a lot of people walked out, but I also remember they made a black and white version, which was weirdly more popular.
Yes.
And I don't get it.
Well, because I think the black and white version was released a few months later, like after it won like Best Picture.
It was after the
so a lot
Oscar,
of people
yeah.
working it. Yeah, a lot of the film fans kind of caught onto it at that point.
Right. Yeah.
I just thought that was really strange.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame because a lot of people probably like didn't know that it was like a foreign film. Maybe
A lot of
Yeah.
people didn't expect it to be subtitled rather than like being
Yeah,
in
yeah.
English.
No, I remember around the Oscars at the time there was a lot of discussion of like there was like the Oscars kind of voters, like the sort of the shadow collective that do the voting of the Oscars.
Shadow Collective.
They do like anonymous interviews every year, and one of them was just like this movie should not win because it is not an American movie. Only American movies should win Best Picture. And it's like, holy shit!
Oh my god, that's off.
Yeah, no,
I hate
crazy.
Hollywood, man. Honestly,
I know. But yes, this has gone on for far longer than it's meant to. We are watching Parasite. These two have not seen it. Are you looking forward to it, you two?
I am.
yes. Definitely.
Excellent. Do you know anything about it?
Nope.
Good. Okay.
Absolutely nil.
Yeah. Yes. So we're going to get into that now.
Nice.
Again, if you've not seen the movie yet, now it's time to pause it. Go watch it. It's on Amazon Prime, or it was when we recorded this. Yeah, Parasite, Bong Joon-ho.
Here we go.
Oscar quest number 1. Oscar quest.
Yeah, let's do this.
Nice.
Goodbye.
Bye.
그동안 미술쌤도 여러 명 바꿔가면서 해봤는데요.
제가 사람 하나가 휙 하고 떠올랐는데
아 잠깐. 제시카 외동딸 일리노이 시카고 과선배는 김치모 그는 이사촌.
부자인데 착하다니까. 진짜 니가 착한 거지. I'm deadly serious.
근데 지금 진짜로 이상한 게 뭔 것 같아.
Well then, Parasite. We have just watched Parasite.
Yeah.
Bong Joon-ho's Parasite. Yeah.
We
How are we feeling after that?
we witnessed the fitness and
We witnessed the fitness.
it was good. It was very good.
Yeah. This was definitely a movie that I needed to keep a lot of elements quiet about while we were watching, because you guys asked the occasional question earlier on, and I was having to kind of skirt around things a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
Which was a lot of fun. It's also, I'm fully aware, it's definitely a movie that you need some time to process.
Yeah, totally.
Having said that, how do you feel about Parasite?
Right, let's start this by the first thing that we started talking about was homemade jammy Dodgers. that's what we started talking about.
Yeah,
As we're sitting up there.
Absolutely
Alec was
nothing
having-
to do with Parasite.
Alec was having a nice wee custard cream, and I decided to ask, what's your favourite biscuit? That's my favourite biscuit. Coffee
Anyway.
shop jammy Dodgers.
Yes. Yeah, no, totally. It's the quietest we've been shooting a movie podcast so far, I think. Like
During the
throughout
film.
it. Normally we kind
Yeah,
of
definitely.
chuck jokes about and stuff to relieve the tension, but no, this was really good.
Aye.
It was...
Or if it's a bit shit, we make fun of it. Like during
Yeah,
Godzilla,
yeah.
we didn't shut up.
It's a
I
good gauge of
I
whether it's good or
barely
not.
watched that movie when we were watching it. I was just like
Same.
fucking. I was like, what else could I do? This is not as good as I remember this movie.
The last hour, I actually started playing bass.
I actually think at one point we were watching it. I was chatting to you and I was fucking looking at the window, like, and then like every now and then, like looking back, like being you know when you just know a movie so well, it's like.
Yeah.
But I like watching movies for the first time. It's fun.
Yeah. So I'm glad you liked it. Sean, how did you feel about it?
I adored that film. I love a good,
Yeah.
like, it was so tense,
Yeah.
and like it didn't let up until like the very last like minute, and then it was
Yeah.
like all the tension's gone. That was,
Yeah.
It was a beautiful film.
Definitely
That's one thing that
deserved the
hit me
Oscar.
immediately.
Definitely
absolutely.
deserved it.
Yeah. We'll have a little chat about that a little bit later on. But
Yeah, it'd be fun to see who the competitors were in the same.
Yeah,
category.
I've got a list of them here, but yeah, we'll do that at the end.
Cool. Sounds good.
But yeah, no, this is a movie I think I mentioned on our review of the year episode. There's a film critic, I can't remember who it was, but they kind of described it as like watching someone stack up dominoes in like a tower. And after really not that long, you're like, that's too many dominoes. That's way too many dominoes. And then it just keeps going and keeps going. You know it's all going to fall at some point.
It's like Jenga, isn't it? It's like just doing the things and then something's going to go eventually. Yes.
So before we get into this properly, I have to, there's of course a certain thing that I have to do, which I'm trying to get to as quickly as I can. You've just been talking about yourselves. If you have not seen Parasite yet, here's your spoiler alarm. The spoiler alarm is sounding. The spoiler alarm is sounding. This is your spoiler warning. After this point, we are going full spoilers. There we go. I don't have that saved in anything. I just load that from YouTube every time.
I love that. Like, you edit a podcast, you could literally have a wee horn sound saved on your downloads folder in your MacBook, drop it into the session, and then export it. But no, you decide to, while shooting the podcast in real time as you're speaking, type in horn sound effect into YouTube.
I have it saved in a playlist, to be fair.
What is it? Just like annoying sounds playlist?
It's actually the Star Wars Imperial siren. Like it's.
Is it? Oh, so it is. So it is.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Just sounds like a cow.
So yes, so we're gonna get into full spoilers now. I just should say, by the way, this is now my third time seeing this movie, and I think it gets better every time I see it. I gotta say, like, I really enjoyed it the first time, but I kind of came out of it just a bit kind of shell shocked, like what I just watched, and I couldn't quite formulate my thoughts. And then the second time, I was like, God, this is good. And then third time now, it's even better. So, quick sum up of the plot of the film, which I'm gonna let you guys do this time. what happens in this film?
So. Set in South Korea, I'm presuming.
Yes.
Would you call it really poor family? Kind of basically live in the kind of Korean ghetto, basically. Like, they kind of live in like below ground level with like a window, and they can see like everyone that's drunk like piss in their house and all that, and it's like it's pretty grim.
Drunk guy.
But they are the ultimate bullshitters. So one of his I can't remember the main Kevin, or what they call him in this, Mr. Kevin. In this movie, one of his pals, I'm assuming from somewhere at school maybe, and he's went on to college and he didn't.
That's right.
Lands him a job faking as a English teacher for a rich family, and then he slowly, as the movie goes on, his family, like the poor family, they try to replace all the jobs in the rich family's house, and they take over.
Yes.
They do take over.
Continue. I'm going to shut my door. I'm going to take my headphones off so I can't hear you 1 second.
Yeah. So they take over, like the whole shenanigans.
The shenanigans.
Anything to add, Sean?
Yeah, so after they've kind of like taken over and like their family's like completely moved in, I can't remember her name, but she was the nanny before who had survived the original family, and like when they sold the house, she basically was still the housekeeper.
Yeah.
She comes back to the house and reveals that she's been keeping her husband in the basement. And,
that's the kind of
in a
big
wee
twist.
secret bunker.
That's the big twist.
Yeah.
That bit pure creeped me out, man. When they opened even just seeing the bit of like, wait, what is going on here? Why is there this? Did they mention why there was a secret bunker? Was it because
it's a common thing in Korea?
Common thing in Korea, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they say that a lot of rich houses have them, like in case North Korea invades, basically.
Yeah, I think that is probably true. And I do know that they have regular nuclear alarms and tests there, like scheduled, like I don't know if it's monthly maybe or weekly, I don't know, but it's like
something like that,
just super regular thing, like, which is kind of terrifying. Like, that's really
like another real thing is they call it a semi-basement, the house that they live in, the poor family, where it's like half below ground, half above ground.
Yeah.
That is also a real thing. That's not a thing I was aware of, but like it's a very, very common thing over there because it kind of allows more houses per sort of building, basically. You know, like
it's very similar to the thing in this is a random call thing It's kind of similar to Ready Player One, where they just stacked fucking houses on top of each other.
Yeah.
Just to, because they've got such a dense population, they've had to squeeze it all into the smaller landmass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally. Well, you either build up or you build down, don't you? Or both.
Or both.
And there's a very. It's not the most subtle metaphor, but there is definitely a metaphor in the certain way that like this you start out with that poor family and they live literally half below ground, half above ground, and then they go to the rich house and they have to walk up this big hill to get to the rich house, and then later on you meet a family that's in even worse state and they're literally living underground.
Yeah, totally.
So there's this kind of class levels thing going on. And
Totally. Yeah, totally. Do you think that they're in a worse state?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, like he didn't seem unhappy. The guy living in the basement, to be fair, but
he seemed pretty chuffed, man.
Enjoy being there.
He seems pretty chuffed to me. I mean, he loved Mr. Park. He loves Mr. Park. He spends his whole day smacking his noggin off a light bulb.
That's a plot point.
Mr.
His entire job is to turn lights on and pretend to be a sensor.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that like, it's an interesting thing that like
that's brilliant. By the way, that is like whoever wrote that is amazing.
And Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
There's a really clever thing in that with like the fact that like when they find them living in the basement, you know, like they're like the two down there are not like help us get out or anything like that. They want like he wants to stay there.
Yeah.
Like he's just totally accepted the situation, and they, because they are on that kind of like they're poor, but they have this opportunity. They are constantly wanting to get higher than they are.
Yes.
But that poor family are like. But those two, the guy living in the basement is totally just like, this is my life.
So like the housekeeper that's been there, it like mentions that she was there originally with the architect who built the house, and then she kind of wangled her way in to stay on, like kind of similar to what they did. And basically her husband is like has debt collectors and money sharks after him and all these things.
That's why he's hiding in the basement.
Yeah,
because if the loan sharks found him, he is dead. So not even an exaggeration either. He's actually going to be. They'll just kill him.
Yeah.
So I take it that family moved in like 4 years ago.
I think that is the implication. Yeah. So it's not directly said, but yeah.
Because did they not buy the house from the architect?
I think so. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's just interesting how they didn't find out about that bit. Like she obviously. Do you know what I mean? Like, kept a secret.
Yeah.
Where were we in the plot? Oh,
yes.
So after they discover them in the basement, they can all the rest of the family all sneak down. It's meant to be just the house nanny that's there, which is the wife. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the names because I don't want to offend anyone.
No.
So she goes down and she's like, they're like, can we stay? The husband and the original house nanny who lives down there. But the other rest of the family sort of trip on the stairs. I can't remember what happens exactly, but they all just fucking.
Well, they're basically all eavesdropping in. Like they were all there. Like the family that lives in the house, the rich family, they all went out to go camping, and they kind of went, "Hey, let's have a fucking house party," like which is the worst. As soon as that happened, they were getting drunk. I was like, "Oh no, something bad is gonna happen here." I was just waiting for the family to just walk back in. To be honest, at any moment.
Well, that's the thing. It totally plays with like you're expecting that to happen, and then just the most insane shit possible happens.
So eventually, they try and blackmail each other by they get footage of the family who live there, and then they like make them confess that they're all actually a family.
Yeah,
because the dad's the driver now. The daughter does art lessons. Is it?
Yeah, kind of art therapy.
Art therapy, driver, and English teacher.
Kevin does English teaching, and the dad's the driver.
Yeah,
and
the mom's the caretaker now.
Yeah, that's right. So they make them confess on the phone, and then they have a bit of a scuffle, and then the family had a disastrous camping trip.
Yeah.
So they come home early, and then the sheer intensity of how close they come to getting caught is, I can't compare it to any other film I've ever seen, but that bit was terrifying, like anxiety inducing.
Yep.
And
it's
they,
a lot to
then
deal
they
with.
also, so when you find out that this dude's been living like underneath the house all this time,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of throughout the whole movie, it's kind of delving into the fact that the wee kid, would you call it, is like had an incident or whatever. And it turns out that it's like he saw a ghost, which was just this guy, and ensues the most terrifying scene I've ever seen in a movie. That was mortifying because you just don't expect it.
Yeah,
Those
It's
eyes.
It's a great shot. Like it's just this one like 3 second
It's
shot.
literally
It's
for what?
terrifying.
Yeah. Oh my god!
The
You
eyes,
basically
man.
just see the door that leads down into the basement, like. The kid's basically just sitting by the fridge, like munching into some cake because it's his birthday, and he just looks over, and this dude's like peering up, just like with his just eyes showing.
Can we just talk about how delicious the cake looks?
It looked amazing, to be fair.
Damn, that cake looked good.
But no wonder that kid's scarred, man. Like,
Yeah.
I know, fuck's sake.
So, quick point on that shot. The first time I saw this movie, it took me a little while to see it because like this came out in other countries earlier than it did here. And I'd seen a lot of discussion about it by the time I saw it. And I had seen accidentally a GIF of that shot.
Oh, had you?
Just the shot of them kind of coming peeking over the stairs. So I didn't know anything about the plot of the movie. I knew that it was
just
about
knew that was gonna happen.
rich family and a poor family, and I knew that shot happened at some point because I was expecting a horror film, like a really creepy, which it definitely has moments of being like a horror film.
Do you wish that you hadn't seen that?
To some extent, but it also did put me really on edge for the entire film.
Yeah, you were like, how is this going to lead to that moment? Like, do you know what I mean?
So I kind of wish I hadn't seen it, but it didn't really spoil anything. It actually misdirected me in a way, so maybe it was a good thing.
Potentially,
yeah.
Yeah.
What happens next? So after that,
The rain.
The rain. Oh yeah, there's a huge flood, and their original home gets completely like washed out with sewage. So they then eventually all have that kind of the smell of sewage because well, they're a poor family living, so they couldn't do their laundry. Eventually, the rich family start to catch on that they all kind of smell similar.
Well, the kid find like he's smart that way, isn't he? He's like they all smell the same.
That was kind of foreshadowed, which was really cool. Because the kid like smells the driver and then goes to smell the house down, and he's like, oh, they smell the exact same.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
that bit was scary.
Yeah, and even before the sewage stuff, like the Mr. Park, I think he's called the head of the rich family, is talking about like the fact that like he doesn't say like poor people smell this way, but there's an implication in his tone about like
he heavily implies that, and it kind of gets throughout the movie. I loved the arc of the dad, how so they cast him as the driver who's really mild mannered and really this and that, but he actually has like a temper on him, don't they? And they need to really work to keep him mild mannered, like when they're back in their own house, don't they? Like they're like play acting the scenes that they've wrote for him and stuff.
Yeah.
And
like he's clearly a nice guy.
Oh,
like,
totally.
They all seem to, like, he's not like an abusive dad or anything like that, but he. He's got this kind of emotional side to him.
Yeah, he's just emotional. It's not anything like out of the ordinary, I don't think. But you could see it sink through him when the park guy was like going on about the smell and kind of insinuating that poor people smell this way, and then it just kind of built up throughout the whole movie till the end when he obviously shanks him.
Yeah. So at the birthday party for the wee boy, they all kind of get invited kind of in different ways, which is actually kind of interesting as well. Anyway, so they all get there, and the party's a bit of a disaster.
A bit.
Just a wee bit,
This movie played out a lot differently than I thought. Like, see when it started, and it was like a kind of romantic thing between him and the lassie. Like, I thought it was maybe going to be more about that, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, because it could have went that way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, which I think that just kind of starts as he's kind of going. He's just trying to get this, you know, vulnerable high school girl to like him so that he kind of can insert into the family more.
Yeah.
And like it's.
I'm glad that was a very low subplot of the movie and not like one of the big elements, which was cool.
Yeah.
His arc was fascinating as well because he eventually does kind of go, do I actually kind of belong with the rich people? Am I like meant to be poor? That kind of thing.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah.
Belong here.
Like she's like
dumbass.
There's definitely an element of like the rich family just have no concept of what these people go through day to day and when he asked that, she's just like and
it's trying to bring across the fact that nobody looks poor. It's just everyone's actually the same. Yeah. It's just it's just the setting that you're put in.
It does have a lot of kind of elements of like different classes and stuff like that interacting and seeing what would actually happen.
Yeah,
I think that's fascinating.
This is a big thing with Bong Joon-ho. He's definitely interested in like class divide and like all that stuff. And if you've seen Snowpiercer, which is his big American action film, basically, like
I've not seen the movie. I've seen a couple of episodes of the TV show. That's about it.
Yeah, which I don't think he's involved in that, but yeah, like it's based on a comic and it's great actually. His version is great, and
is the movie good?
It's brilliant. Yeah, no, it's really really good. We should definitely watch that at some point. Chris Evans and John Hurt and it's
because I know that thingy's in thingy's been cast in it. Sean Bean is in the new season of Snowpiercer.
Oh, and in the show, right?
Yeah, in the TV show.
Yeah. I know if you're unaware of Snowpiercer, it's a great concept. The world is ended and there is a train that is constantly moving around the world and never stops, and it's like the only place on Earth where people are still alive. And then there's this sort of class divide of the back of the train are really poor and the front of the train are mega rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see the parallels with this actually.
Yeah, and then like it's about the poor half of the train kind of trying to fight their way to the front of the train. And it's great. Chris Evans is brilliant in it. Yes, we should definitely watch that at some point. It's a good film.
The ending.
Yes.
Jacob.
You want me to take over?
Yeah, we've all done a bit each.
Okay. So the party, the guy in the basement breaks out. You think he's killed the Kevin with the Rock. We'll talk about the Rock in a little bit as well. You think he's killed him with the Rock, but he actually survives, and then he kind of just goes on a rampage. He just tries to kill as many people at the party as he can.
I mean, does it though? It kind of only targets the poor family.
He does. That's true, to be fair. But he's clearly like he kind of slashes at people that come near him, and he's he's not really caring that much. At that point.
He gets a few people. He gets a few randoms.
Yeah. Okay. He only really like stabs, like goes to kill the main family. But yes. And then there is this whole sequence involving the son of the rich family is prone to seizures, and he starts having seizure. And they're trying to get him to hospital. And there's this whole thing with the keys and like the dad of the poor family trying to pass him the keys. And then there's this moment where Mr. Park suddenly smells that smell again. And like there's this moment where like even in this situation he's a snob. And,
I know. There's literally people being stabbed, and he's like smelling a smell and like.
And it sends.
The dad.
Okay, I need to know their names. the dad of the main family. It just kind of makes him snap, and he stabs Mr. Park.
Yeah.
Killing him.
Yes. And then that's kind of the end of the movie. After that, it's more just about like kind of wrapping up, and there's this whole thing to do. Like the dad's now living in the basement, and the son wants to kind of make enough money to buy that house to get his dad out of there.
Yeah. I thought so. The way they ended it, like I thought it was leading to like I thought it did a time jump.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh no, he's just imagining this.
Yeah. They definitely leave that like this maybe happens, but yeah, you have no idea. And one thing I love about the ending actually is that the final shot is a mirror of the first shot. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
I did not actually.
Yeah, so like the opening shot of the film is looking out the window of the semi-basement, and there's like the socks hanging there, and then it pans down. And the son is sitting there looking at his phone, and he kind of looks up, and it's the same shot, but now it's nighttime, and the house is kind of ruined, and he kind of looks up, and there's this kind of look in his eyes of just like he's got this plan, but he's like, how the fuck am I going to do this? You know?
Yeah, and it's also interesting that like he's got a plan because his dad, after their house flooded and they were all sleeping in the like a gym, his dad was going on about like, don't have a plan, plans go wrong. Like if you don't have a plan, nothing can go wrong. Like you could kill a man and it wouldn't matter and stuff. Yeah, which obviously has its own parallels, but
that's pretty cool. I never noticed that one either.
Yeah, which is I guess the movie kind of saying like this probably doesn't happen, but yes. So let's kind of dive into a little bit more. Yeah, there's feel free to jump in with whatever you got, but yeah.
I've got trivia for the end, so
yes.
Go on, my son.
Any notes, by the
way? Yes, I took a few notes, not as many as usual, maybe because I've seen it a few times, but
I was just so focused on watching it, like to pick up everything.
Yeah,
same. Yeah,
I love the fact that the family are like always kind of scheming. Like they've got this thing going at the start of the film where they fold pizza boxes for a living.
Yeah.
That was a weird thing.
Yeah, and it's weird because it doesn't really explain what's going on. So you're just like, why are they doing that? And then so they're trying to do it as fast as possible, and they're watching a video of someone and trying to get as fast as her.
And even
the first kind of
even then, it's like when so like they're not folding the boxes properly, or the dad hasn't folded his quarter of the boxes right.
Yeah.
The woman like that's coming to get the boxes, she's like, oh no, like we're gonna pay you less and all that, and even then he's like, oh, you need extra workers, like let me work for you and all that, and they kind of almost force her into the situation. Do you know what I mean? She doesn't need she doesn't think they need an extra worker, but they're just so like persistent that she like can't say no.
Yeah, they're so used to kind of trying to sort of scam their way into getting money that like it's just kind of comes easy to them. There's this great shot of her kind of the person who owns the pizza company, and she's just standing there, and they kind of slowly gather around her.
Intimidating her.
It's really good.
The sister is great in this movie, I think.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
I think she's brilliant. I think she like almost steals the show sometimes, because she's just like so. The way she acts it is just so cool. Like she just owns the room whenever she walks into a room as that character. Do you know what I mean? She's like, she just bosses people about and all that. Like, no, you go now. Go. I need to speak to her alone. Yeah. Like, go. And it's like she's got so much balls. Like,
I know, totally.
Very demanding. Yeah.
Like, she kind of realizes, I guess, that like this is how sophisticated rich people act.
Yeah.
So she kind of just totally just adopts that. Yep. No hesitation. She just
And I loved the wee kind of fun little like song they had, the rhyme thing they had before they went into the house the first time, the Chicago, Illinois thing.
Yeah, to remember their lies.
Yeah, brilliant. That's one bit that I remember from the trailer. That bit.
Yes. Yeah. The trailers were interesting for this film because they did kind of make it seem more like a horror movie as well. Like, quite clever ones. There's lots of like. There's an interesting thing with like the rock that he's given by his friend Min, I think he's called.
Min,
and like it's interesting because that rock kind of keeps cropping up throughout the film, and he says like it keeps clinging to me.
Yeah, it's weird.
And like you're kind of waiting for some big kind of like here's what the rock means.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I think the point is that it doesn't mean anything. Like because he keeps saying.
It's just a rock.
Yeah, well, totally. Yeah, like it's and he even keeps saying like, oh, it's so metaphorical, and he's like totally excited by that idea, and like I honestly think that there's a part of this that is you're right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm coughing. Yeah, I'm good.
I think there is a part of this where like Bong Joon-ho's films are ones that like are constantly being like overanalyzed, people looking for the meaning in them, and, like all this stuff. So I think that's there as a sort of like it doesn't matter, just pay attention to the film. This means nothing, and it's kind of just there to drive people insane a little bit with theories.
Yeah, totally. I think you're right.
It's
I know,
almost
it's like you're watching it and you're like, does this rock have deeper meaning in South Korean culture? And it's like, they're just like, nah, it's just a rock. Like,
it's just a rock. It's there so that it can be used as a weapon at the end of the film.
Yeah, totally. To bash a skull in. That scene where it just bops off his head, it totally just looks like a rubber rock.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Which it probably was for the shot, to be fair. But yeah. I guess it's got to convincingly be like, this injures him badly but doesn't kill him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I was like half expecting, but not like, I was waiting for that Tarantino, like. Do you know what I mean? I was
caves
like,
in. Yeah,
pure heaviness of the rock.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's almost like that old Coen Brothers story. You know this about the hat in Miller's Crossing? You guys seen Miller's Crossing?
No.
Okay. So there's a thing in Miller's Crossing where like there's this, it keeps showing this hat, so kind of this hat blowing in the wind. And again, Coen Brothers are filmmakers that people constantly overanalyze their films and like. So they keep showing this hat, and there's no reason for it. It's just a cool. It's a good image. This hat kind of blowing in the wind like that. That's really why it's there.
Yeah.
And people are kind of constantly like theorizing, like, what does the hat mean? What does the hat mean? And people keep asking, like, they keep asking them in interviews, like what's the deal with the hat? What's the deal with the hat? And they just kind of got really fed up with like answering that question. So then later on, they made the film Barton Fink. Where throughout that film there is a suitcase. They kind of like John Goodman's character keeps handing John Turturro the suitcase and just be like, "Can you just watch this for me? Don't let anyone open it." Yeah. And you're waiting for the suitcase to be open for the whole film, and it never gets opened, and it's just never explained what's in the suitcase. And
I love that.
And then in interviews now, when people ask like, "What's the suitcase in Barton Fink?" Well, what's in there? Their answer is the hat from Miller's Crossing.
That's genius.
Brilliant.
That's so smart.
It's kind of like in what'd you call it? Put the last Rise of Skywalker. How Finn like a few times in that movie, and it really annoys me. It's just such an annoying bit. How he's like, "Oh Ray, I have something to tell you," and then they do the sand thing, and then and then it's like, "Oh Ray, I've got something to tell you again," and then like the way they explain that is in the Lego Christmas show of the that's how they explain it. He was wanting to tell
I've not seen that yet.
Right, basically he was wanting to tell Ray that he's force sensitive. That's what it is.
That's kind of what I think.
And it's explained in the book as well. There's like they do these like books and stuff where it explains more about the movies. But it's like, oh, could you not have just had it in there? Like, is it that hard?
It genuinely,
especially when you bring it up 3 times, it just makes an audience pissed off. It's like, why are you doing this? Like, makes me raging. It's like, don't make it a thing and then just leave it. It's like
I think that is what they're trying to imply, but it feels like there's been a scene cut that makes that more clear.
It's not clear at all.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Because he doesn't even show, like, other than like wafting a bit of lightsaber in Force Awakens like a fanny. He doesn't really show any ability. Do you know what I mean? With Force things. If they'd shown like a wee scene of him move something, or like something happened that was more than coincidence. But yeah, that's off tangent. But yeah, that's like just a wee thing that like is annoying for audiences. Like
that good old fashioned pronoun game.
I can see how that would be a laugh if you were making a movie and you were the filmmaker and you were like, ha ha ha, nobody knows this but I do. But it's like everyone's, do you know what I mean? Like J.J. Abrams is having an absolute ball right now. He's finding it absolutely hilarious, but everyone else is so pissed. Do you know what I mean?
Fuck you guys.
Like that's an example of when that goes wrong, definitely. Like it just doesn't work.
Totally.
Whereas like the hat in Miller's Crossing or the rock in this, or the suitcase in Pulp Fiction. There's a lot of questions about like what's in that.
Oh yeah, sometimes it's great. Like being ambiguous is brilliant, and some things, not everything needs an answer. But But there's some cases when it's so persistent and it's not just imagery. It's like somebody saying something to someone, and it feels like it's part of the plot. It's like, totally, come on, dude. Like.
My favourite version of that being ambiguous deliberately is the box in 7.
You see what's in the box in 7?
I don't remember that film that well then. I don't know.
I won't go.
But like the
mate, you see what's in the box.
What the fuck?
I won't go into spoilers for that film because
Oh, come on.
But like, yeah,
Sean, have you seen the movie though?
Oh, I've seen the movie.
Right, we can say it then.
I just can't remember that.
right,
bit.
I'll mute. I'll like censor our spoilers. It says what drives.
Yeah. Me and Haley watched that movie like a year back.
I haven't watched it in years, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I like the kind of ambiguity where he doesn't want to tell him what's in it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Sean's just like all of
Parasite.
a sudden, wow, that movie is good.
7 is a fucking class movie.
We should do 7 at some point. Definitely, it's good. Yes.
Where are we going from here? It's a very pretty film. That's one thing that we all said.
Yeah, very.
It really is. It's a great looking film, especially when the scene when everything's flooding, kind of the street lights. And the
What
rain
was
and
that?
things
What was that edit that was like really, really cool?
You
know the
mentioned
one
a
that
really
was like
odd edit, yeah.
Oh,
it
the
was
transition.
There was like a transition with like I think it was water coming down and it's faded into the scene.
It was a shot from inside the semi basement, and the water kind of like rises above the camera level, and as it goes up, it transitions into
it like
the street.
It like split screened where it was like the water, and then the next scene was starting at the top. And then,
Yeah.
That was.
There's definitely some. Yeah, there's definitely some really interesting kind of playing with film language a little bit, like when the mom's telling the story about the birthday cake. The fridge opens behind her and then the cake's on the floor. Like, it's just they kind of do lots of kind of weird little moments like that.
I love movies that like don't just do a straightforward edit, but they get really creative with it in the post.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It's really cool.
It's all part of it.
Yes. What's up? You got something?
I've got some trivia. I don't know if you want to.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Give us some.
I'm gonna get 3 for this one because the rest are very wordy.
Okay.
This film makes several nods to Alfred Hitchcock throughout. Like the stairs used as a motif. Voyeurism is used as characters watch scenes through the windows and stuff like that. So
we should get some Hitchcock going on this channel as well.
We should.
There's also a shot of an Alfred Hitchcock collection in the Parks home. There you go.
I genuinely don't
noticed
know if I've seen any Hitchcock movies.
Have you seen Psycho?
No.
Psycho's
we gotta watch Psycho.
I know. We've already.
Guess what our next film is?
Was it he did The Birds as well or something?
The Birds is I've not seen that.
Birds.
Maybe that'd be a good one for all of us.
That's one as well.
It's one of these things because it's such a different generation from us. We end up seeing the stuff that's influenced by Hitchcock more than. Do you know what I mean? It's like you see the kind of. So you'll be. I'll be familiar with the style. I'm sure because there'll be loads of filmmakers that I've watched that are doing that thing. But
Rear Window is one I've always wanted to see and not come around to yet.
Right.
Yeah, we should do some Hitchcock. That'd be good.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. Right, I made a comment earlier about in the intro about when they released a black and white version of this film, and I didn't get it. But it's kind of explained with the director when he said he hoped when the colours were gone that the viewers would notice more of the contrast between the rich and poor. So it was more of a classist thing, I guess.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'd quite like to see the black and white one now, just to see if you can notice the difference.
Yeah, I don't tend to watch the black and white versions of films first. Like there's like the Mad Max one and there's the Logan one.
Logan.
Like that, and like
a Logan one?
Yeah.
Logan would be great.
Yeah.
Logan would be great.
Yeah.
I think
it's called like Logan Noir or something like that. And they are cool. Like I think some people are a bit like, why? But like I do appreciate that they've not just turned off the saturation. Like they recolor the film to look good in black and white and like
they did
do it properly and yeah.
I think it takes the focus more on the story when you make it black and white.
Yeah.
There's less distractions.
That's what he said would hope would happen. When the colour's gone, you notice like the divide a bit more.
Yeah, because you wouldn't see the difference between the rich and the poor as much.
Yeah.
Like
he also said something about the contrast of lines as well, like the use of deliberately straight lines between the families as well. It's a lot of like setting up shots that you're like, oh, that's a bit.
There's definitely some like framing things they do there quite clever. Like even just like when you're seeing the rich couple like falling asleep and the camera pans down and the table literally crosses the frame and then the family are hiding there. there's even like one of my favorite things is Mr. Park keeps mentioning this thing about crossing the line.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
And again,
a lot.
it-
yeah.
And it's never really directly said what he means by that, but he's basically talking about like the line between my class and your class, and he kind of, the way he sees it is like the back of the car and the front of the car, and that's crossing the line.
Yeah. It's the thing is he doesn't seem Mr. Park. He doesn't seem like a bad guy.
Yeah.
No,
but
none of them do.
he's just from the perspective of having nothing. And like do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
He's snobbish, but he's actually an alright guy. Like,
Yeah,
he's a good father.
There's this comment that someone makes at some point, like,
Or even actually, I think he's probably he comes across as a good guy to other people in the same class.
Yeah.
But
totally.
But in the grand scheme of things, he's up his own arse, basically.
he's a friendly guy, but there's multiple points where he reminds people like I am in charge, like when he's like eyes on the road, and he's quite kind of direct about it. And like,
to be fair,
Party
right,
as
I
well.
was watching that scene and I was like, dude, watch the fucking road, because he was
Same.
barely looking at like to sort of.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and there's a great line at one point from, I can't remember who says it now, but someone says like, they're nice despite the fact they're rich, and someone else goes, it's not that despite the fact they're rich, they're nice because they're rich. Like they can afford to be nice.
and then the mum's like, hey, if I had all this money, I'd be nice too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's just kind of highlighting again the kind of difference between them, and like,
yeah,
I do find it kind of fascinating that neither family is portrayed as like the villain of the movie. They they have their good points and their bad points. It's like,
yeah.
the poor family are nice, like as a group of people. They're like, you know, loving to each other, but they're literally conning the rich family.
Yeah.
The rich family are really nice to, you know, other people, but they are very snobbish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, and even the people living in the basement, they're not hurting anybody. They're just there, and like
They're trying to find their way to survive.
There's a very deliberate, like, the name Parasite could apply to almost anybody in the movie. Like, you know, like,
and the movie shows you great how like the rich family, they just throw money at everything. Like the mum literally doesn't care. Like she even pays them for turning up to the birthday party.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like she just doesn't care.
Yeah.
And she's such a sucker. Like, do you know what I mean? It just shows you how vulnerable you are when you've got loads of money, because then your guard's down, whereas on the other side they're always watchful, they're always like
defensive,
aware of everything.
Yeah, totally.
So
I love this stuff. Like when the flood happens, and like it keeps cutting between like them planning a party and then the other family are stuck in this gym with like hundreds of other people.
Yeah. She's trying to like mute the sound of like all the people in the room.
Yeah. And there's even this little line where she's like, "Oh yeah, that rain was such a blessing because it means we can have this party now." And then the dad's just sitting there like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It's like human.
See, I thought when the place flooded, I thought it was just rainwater, and then I saw the drain, and then all the poo come at the toilet. I was like, "Oh no!" It's like sewage.
The sewage is just broke.
That's it. Like even then, like this movie manages to make someone sitting on a toilet that's literally exploding with shit. It still manages to make that shot beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's a brilliantly well shot thing.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Oh Christ! One wee last bit.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
This is a nice happy bit of trivia. Mm-hmm. See the coffee table that the family hides under during that whole sequence?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was specifically designed to hide 3 adults underneath it.
Oh wow! Yeah.
I just thought that was really cool.
Right, okay, yeah. I know that I'm pretty sure Bong Joon-ho himself kind of, like probably with help, but he designed the house. Like it was that kind of, he wanted it to look a certain way and lay out in a certain way, and the house was built for the film. Like that wasn't a real house that they used. Like, that was built for the film, which is kind of crazy.
That's a set piece.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. We talked about like it's very jarring when you're watching a foreign film and they suddenly speak English.
Yeah, it's like whoa.
Yeah, because off guard a couple of times.
Well, because what's weird is it's still subtitled, because the subtitles are just on. So so you're reading it and you're suddenly just like, oh, I heard that, and it's very, very
strange.
I
know.
Yeah,
that's weird.
What else have I got here? My favorite sequence of the film is when they're trying to fire the old caretaker. And the whole sequence to do with the peaches, and there's this great bit of classical music playing, and it's a really funny scene, but it is so dark and like.
See when they have the old caretaker come back for the first time, she just looks totally unhinged. It's actually terrifying. The way they make her look, it just looks so different from what she has. Like, you know what I mean? It's such a stark contrast compared to how she looked in the start of the movie.
Very broken and scared.
Yeah, well, she's all like clean and dressed up nice and pampered and hair nice and all that. And then, like, in reality, what she's actually, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally.
That's a brilliant contrast as well. They're, as mentioned before, they're literally just trying to survive in Korea. Literally by hiding the husband in a basement, and she's working for the rich family.
Yeah.
So when that's threatened, she just goes absolutely ballistic. It's brilliant.
Yeah, one of the best scenes is when they do have the video of like the family falling down the stairs, and she kind of has evidence that the poor family that are working in the house aren't who they say they are and stuff like that. When she gets them to like do anything she wants because she has that power. She was saying like it's like a nuclear missile, like that she's got that again harking back to the kind of nuclear thing.
Hands in the air, fuckers.
Yeah, that's so good. She's like we could get these bastards to do anything we want. It's like, and it just pans round to them and they're all like with their hands in the air on like one leg or something like.
It's pure sinister.
It's great. And yeah, it's definitely a movie that gets better with rewatches. There's kind of more stuff you notice. Like the twist is really hidden. Like you never guess that's coming. But there's little things like the old caretaker. There's a scene in the start where she goes down to the basement to get something, and they don't focus on it, and they don't even have the shelves in shot when she does it. But she has a moment as she comes down, she stops and glances over at it. And just like checking, like, is it still closed? You know, like just kind of in the back of her mind, kind of panic. But yeah, it's so quick, and I only spotted it this time, and yeah, there's little moments like that.
Because she does, like, even though she hides her husband in there, she does bring him out though, like quite a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like they do, like kind of live in the house when they're not there.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Which a family that rich, they're probably gone quite a lot as well.
Yeah, totally. One thing I will mention is that this movie has the cutest dogs out there ever. They're so
great.
The scene when he's trying to hide under the bed, and the wee dog, the wee brown one, comes underneath and is just looking at him. It's like the cutest thing ever.
Can either of you remember any of their names?
I know.
One of them is called Fufu.
I remember Fufu. That's the only one I remember.
I don't remember the others.
Mega cute.
Pomeranian was called Fufu.
Yeah.
Cloud.
I'm kind of out in notes. The only other thing I had was I really like, again, another thing I only noticed this time is there's like really tense music. Like after the flood happens, every time the dad is on screen, there's really tense music playing, just kind of subtly foreshadowing the fact that he's like on the edge. Like,
totally.
Which is really cool. I think that's kind of me.
Notes.
No, that's fine. Is there anything else? I don't think about anything else. So, 2 questions do we have to answer for our
Oscar quest.
journey.
Oscar quest.
So first of all, our usual thing. What would we rate this movie? Alec, I'm coming to you first.
Out of 10?
Yes.
I would give it a solid 9.
Ooh.
Cool.
It's a great movie. You can't fault it.
Yeah, I think that's your highest yet.
That's my highest, definitely.
Yeah, I should write these down.
It's
fine. Cool. A 9. Excellent. Okay, Sean, what about you?
I think it was absolutely deserving of Best Picture. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It's almost perfect, but not quite there. There was a few times where I got a little bit, this is going to offend some people, but there's a few times where I was like a bit bored. But at the same time, 99% of the time I was completely invested in what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
The first time you watch it, I do agree. The first half of the film, it does feel like, okay, where's this going? Like, it does feel like it's taking a while to get to the point, but that does improve with rewatching. I have to say.
Once you get
9.5.
Yeah. I'm honestly tempted to give this a 10. Like, I think like this is
it perfect?
I have one minor complaint really, which is the very end. I like the whole thing with the letters and the Morse code and kind of the vision of like what he wants to do and things like that. But there is a part of me that kind of wishes the last shot of the film was him on top of the mountain and you see the light flashing and then it just cuts to black.
Yeah.
Like
I'm the same with you. I think they kind of over-explained it a bit.
A little bit. And I get the point they're trying to make.
Yeah.
But
you know that thing when you feel like the movie could end any moment and it just keeps on going and it's like...
Yeah.
It's like...
It kind of gets a bit like, right,
it felt like one scene too much.
Yeah, and I it's a shame because I do think that scene is important. Like you were saying earlier, it's the whole thing about he's making this plan, but it probably won't happen. So I do think that's important. But just for, like, I think it would have been really satisfying just seeing the light flashing and the credits roll and you realize the dad's in the basement. Like, you know, like I think that would be a nicer ending overall.
Yeah, like even just like the flashing and then pan down to the paper and it just says son and then over.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, I think
I'm with you on that. I think
it doesn't have to be explained.
Yeah, I think that would be enough for the audiences. And to be honest, I think they already see if they put the "I've got a plan" bit early on. Like maybe just before that bit, saying like "I've got a plan, I'm gonna make a lot of money, I'm gonna do this," and then like
he just wants the house. You know?
Yeah. And then he sees that, and then he's like, "Oh fuck, now I want the house because my dad's in it." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. No, I agree. That is my one thing. So, as much as I would like to give it a 10 because I do think it is that good, but I want to save 10s for like my absolute favorite movies.
I think it's
a high benchmark.
I think it's a great movie. I don't know if it's a movie I would necessarily rewatch. Like I kind of enjoy the first time watching it, and then I don't know if it would make it any. You know what I mean? I don't know. Sometimes with certain movies, I'd probably rewatch it with somebody else because it's always good to rewatch it with somebody else's. You see,
especially this movie.
You see it through their eyes, don't you? So
yeah, no, especially this movie with just that reveal at the midpoint is like I was just sitting there, just like it's coming, like waiting for you guys to see that.
Coming. You listening to our reactions was kind of my favorite part.
I was just sitting grinning to myself.
I think quite early on, did I not say quite early on? I was like, he's gonna fucking kill someone, the dad. Did I not?
You did actually.
I'm pretty sure I said that like halfway through the movie. I was like, he's gonna fucking this guy's gonna fucking kill somebody.
Yeah, I wanted like one thing I wanted. We talked about how good this film looks actually, but like my favorite shot in the film is that moment where they go down into the basement. Like for the first time, kind of descending. Yeah, they're just them descending, and it's following the mom as she runs down, and you can hear the caretaker shouting and like.
Yeah, it's just it's a pure what the fuck moment. Like what
it's done
is this?
So well. Yeah, and the music kind of just like as they're going down. It's so good. So I would give this, with all that in mind, a 9.7.
That's really high. That's really high.
That is really high.
I was thinking my 9 was high. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think
I'm giving myself some room.
9.7.
Yeah,
I think this is the thing. This is my benchmark.
I do genuinely think it's good enough for a 10, but I just want to leave that room a little bit. So that one complaint I have, which isn't really.
To be fair, you've left yourself 0.3. I mean, come on. I've given myself a wee bit of scope here to work with. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, even I'm a bit generous with the 0.5. Come on.
But I do genuinely think it's that good. So like, I'm okay with that.
It's a nearly perfect film.
Yeah. So there you go. That is by far the highest rated film we've done so far.
What's the average, Jake?
9.5 and a 9.7. Like 9.4 average, I guess. Yes. So, question number 2 then, which is, in our quest to watch every Oscar Best Picture winner ever, we shall ask ourselves, compared to the other movies released that year, should this be in that list? Is this one of the greatest films ever made? You know,
what was the other nomination?
Yeah.
What was it against?
So, here is the full list. It was up against Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
See, right up until you said Joker, I was like, definitely. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah. Side note though, fucking good year. Like, holy
That
shit.
is a brilliant year.
To be
So-
fair, right,
Shit, I don't know.
there's some great movies there, but I do think that Hollywood needs to start showing, and hopefully has started showing, some diversity. So I'm very glad that it won, and I do think it deserves it, even though there are some absolutely great movies that would have been just as worthy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I can understand that. I don't think The Irishman should be in there.
Irishman's shit, man.
I don't hate it. I have problems with it. I don't hate it, but it's not top 10 movies of the year, you know.
I give it
I
a
got
2.
very bored of it.
It's like a solid 6 or 7 for me. Like, it's fine.
It's a solid 2, man. Shit.
Ford vs. Ferrari, very good. Again, I'm not sure it's good enough for that,
Good,
but it is
not
good
an
film.
Oscar winner.
Not seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very
Jojo
good.
Rabbit. Honestly,
Still see it.
It's brilliant, but not an
Yeah.
Oscar winner either.
Nah, I
I don't know. Like, Jojo Rabbit I think that's a 10 for me. Honestly, like I love that movie.
It was one of my movies of the year in the
Yeah.
review list.
Yeah, and then Joker's an
I-
interesting one.
See, that's the one that throws me off.
Yeah,
Joker was fucking incredible. That's a straight 10 for me. No.
Joker was incredible. I would have been happy with that, wasn't winning an Oscar.
I
And
had
it would have
no
been
complaints.
great for the superhero film industry.
yes, yeah, because they need a lot of help right now.
I just mean like critically, because they do get a lot of flack for in
No, they do.
in
That's
the
true.
hierarchy of Hollywood.
Was it Scorsese that said that superhero
not
movies aren't real movies?
They're not cinema.
I love your
Yeah.
movies, Martin, but fuck off.
I'm sure it was
Apart from The
Scorsese
Irishman,
that
which
said
was right.
Aye, exactly. Fuck's sake. You're only as good as your last flick, eh? So fuck off.
Oh.
Also, it's hilarious that he's like, it's not cinema when he made a 3-hour film that couldn't get into cinema, so they had to put it on Netflix. And it's like,
Brilliant. No studio wanted to buy his movie because all the executives are like, mate, this is shite. Do you know what I mean? Ken what I mean?
yeah.
Okay, so the only other one on that list that I think deserves like best picture would be 1917. But didn't that win best? Is it best cinematography?
But 1917 definitely
Best
won a
audio
few
mixing
things. Yeah, it definitely won a few things. That
So mixing
yeah,
and
I think
cinematography.
I love
think that for
1917.
me,
That's up there.
that for me is the other one where I'm like, yeah, that could easily win.
Easily.
And I actually think a lot of people thought it was going to. Like that was the
That might be
That was the
one of my
movie.
favourite. That's up there with Saving Private Ryan for me for
Yeah.
favourite war movies.
I actually think 1917 is the best war movie.
Yeah, same.
It's
That's
leagues
fair.
above.
It's
Saving
absolutely
Private Ryan.
gorgeous the way it looks as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it won cinematography for it. So
I'd say maybe Saving Private Ryan has a better plot.
Yeah.
I'd say it's more interesting to watch.
Like it's better written, but just the way that 1917 looks is like
Just the
phenomenal.
technical achievement.
Yeah,
1917
totally.
Yeah.
the whole
and the
one-
audio
one
mixing
shot
for it
thing.
as well.
Aye,
And the
yeah,
score
absolutely.
is beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah.
that score gives me shivers.
Yeah, I've not seen Little Women, but apparently it's great. I've also not seen Marriage Story. I know
Marriage
you
Story.
kinda like.
He's not seen it right. Right.
Right.
I see. I see.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Well,
I'm literally going to make up my decision on what movie to watch.
Oh my god.
well, Alec has an existential crisis.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in
Marriage
Hollywood.
Story is brilliant.
The other nomination.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ponder on that one.
See, I love Quentin Tarantino, but I don't think Once Upon a Time should have been on that list.
I watched. So,
I think-
see, the first time I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I was underwhelmed, right, to say the least.
I was
Right.
severely under.
Watched it again, and I was like, "This is fucking brilliant." I'm not even joking.
It's good on
You've
a
got to
second
see
time
it
viewing.
twice because see, once you know
Yeah.
what type of movie it is, all the jokes hit harder. Everything's better. It's just everything's better as soon as you know
It's-
what type of film
yeah.
it is.
A lot of people have said that. I've heard so many people say the exact same thing. I loved it. It's actually one of my favorite Tarantino movies. I'd say
Same.
it like second or third best. But I think it deserves to be on that list that year. But I don't think it's a best picture winner.
See, I like rewatched it with my dad and seeing them just like pouring the dog food into the dog bowl, just to fucking hilarious.
That fucking sound
It's
as well.
so good. The sound effect is amazing. I'm gonna make a snare drum out of that sound effect.
Right.
For Jake's new kit.
So two big questions then. Out of that list, is it the best movie?
Ugh.
You can't ask me that question. Okay. From a personal point of view, no. But from a critical standpoint, absolutely.
I can put it this way, I can see why it won, but I don't think it's the best overall movie for me.
It is not my favourite movie on the list.
Nah. Like personal favourite movie, I don't think so.
My favourite's Jojo Rabbit, but
I would have picked Joker for that list, but that, again, personal.
I've not seen Jojo yet, but
we're definitely doing that.
So I can't say about that, but I would definitely say that I prefer 1917 or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
But the second question then, regardless of that list, does it deserve to be a Best Picture winner?
I think it does.
Is it kind of on that level?
Yeah,
yes,
I think so.
Absolutely. It's
I agree.
Beautiful. It's very well written.
Mm-hmm.
The twist is fantastic. It absolutely deserves to be on that list. Whether or not it still deserve to be.
It's definitely an Oscar like movie. Do you know what I mean? Like it's in that bracket.
Yeah, without being Oscar bait as well, which is so annoying when that happens.
It's not even Oscar bait. That's the best part about it.
You can tell it wasn't made to win an Oscar as well. I think I think it seems like he just poured everything into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
Yes. So
well crafted.
That's a resounding absolutely from all of us.
yes, indeed. So
awesome.
Oscar quest.
Number 1 has gone well. The first movie we have watched. Good job, Oscars. You have done well this time. Maybe not so well next time. So the next
Oscar quest
movie.
Yes.
If I just bring up my list, which will be in a little while, but it will come, is Green Book.
Oh, no.
Now, Green Book, I have seen Green Book. I really like Green Book.
I have not seen it, but I've seen what it was up against.
It's really good. It's really, really good. But there was a lot of talk that year about, like, should this have won?
I saw that. That was a big controversial pick. But we can talk about that when the time comes.
Yes. So if you have not seen Green Book, be sure to watch it sometime in the next few weeks. We will get to that. But that is the end of
Oscar quest
number 1.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy our journey through movie history.
Yes, definitely.
So next though, what are we watching? What are we watching next week? Alex, you have to decide now.
It's my round. I've decided. You've changed my mind. I've 100% because you haven't seen it. We're going to watch Marriage Story because it is absolutely phenomenal.
Okay.
It's phenomenal. It's so good. No, honestly, it's not even funny. It's it's a very, very good movie. Academy Award winner as well.
Fair enough.
ScarJo and Adam Driver are amazing in it. Honestly, really good.
Okay. No, I've heard great things about it. I struggle with very sad movies, if I'm honest. Yeah. But we shall see how that goes.
I think you'll very much appreciate it from a filmmaking point of view as well, though. That's why I've kind of chose it because it's amazingly done. Like, shot on film. It's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate a movie like those movies where they're just like, here is 2 great actors. They'll just let them do their thing.
Yeah,
you know?
It's literally there's no CGI, no nothing, no anything. Just like a good story. So it'll be fun.
All right.
Cool. Okay, so 2 weeks from when this episode comes out.
Yep.
Watch Marriage Story on Netflix if you have not seen it already.
Yep.
And we will get up with you in 2 weeks. However, in the meantime, if you are watching WandaVision on Disney Plus, we are doing WandaVision kind of spoiler special episodes.
Yep, weekly episodes.
Weekly episodes. Yes, we do, and it's a good time. I'm enjoying doing them. My God, that show is crazy. Honestly, I would need to look at our schedule. WandaVision might be finished by the time this episode comes out. This is like a month away.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Okay, well, if you have enjoyed WandaVision and you've not seen it yet, watch it and then watch our podcast.
Yeah, I do that.
Yes, and probably by the time you hear this, we will start doing Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is that.
So check. What's the quote for the end of the movie?
I'm not there yet. I was not going to do the contact details and shit. Hold your fucking horses.
I know, but I want to hear you speak Korean.
Keep the horses in the stable, son.
I want to hear him speak Korean.
Do
it in Korean. Go.
Shut up.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Let us know what you thought of this movie. If you like Parasite, please get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us by our email, which is saltrivermovieclub@gmail.com, or you can go on our Facebook, which is Salt River Pictures, or our Instagram, as mentioned earlier, which is Salt River Pictures Official. Sean is dancing to the words I say, which is very distracting.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Yes, you can get in touch with us there. On our Instagram and Facebook, we're doing a lot of like, well, I mentioned earlier, we're kind of like posting movies that we watch and things like that. For discussions, different things like that. You can also subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, which has all the other projects we work on, like our music videos and things like that up there. And the podcast is released on that at the same time as on podcast services as well.
Indeed.
Please subscribe on whatever podcast service you use, follow, like us, share us around, comment.
Love us.
And yeah, just let us know what you thought of this movie, and give us some suggestions for films, because we're open to anything.
Yeah, definitely.
Within reason.
Yeah, within reason.
Not fucking The Mountain Eagle, please.
Yes.
Oh, what was Sean? What was that movie you found in Tesco the other day?
Jurassic Thunder.
Jurassic Thunder.
Nice.
Seen Jurassic Park. You've watched Thor Ragnarok. Prepare for Jurassic Thunder.
I love those, the clear like knockoff movies.
It's brilliant. I love it.
It's so good. Yes. Shout out to, I've been meaning to do this last few episodes. Shout out to Alec for our theme tune.
Hey, thanks, Alec. I love it.
Yes. It's a good time. I can now kind of like do the quotes in time with it. As I'm listening to it, I've heard it so much now.
Yes. But also, fun thing, if you have any other quote suggestions I can stick in the theme tune, let us know, and we might vary it up every now and then for a laugh.
Yeah, why not? See what happens. Follow us, get in contact, rate us, subscribe, all that stuff.
Indeed.
Love us.
And yeah, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
We love you.
I have no idea what you just said, Sean. I had to cut out.
Good. You'll hear it when you're editing.
Aye. So yeah, thank you for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks for if you want the name of the movie, Marriage Story.
Yes.
And yes, this is so metaphorical.
Hello there.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Stay on target.
This podcast is brought to you by Salt River Pictures.
You didn't speak Korean.